What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Hope everybody's week has went well. This should be posting somewhere around the weekend, so I hope your weekend's going good too. And I'm very excited to bring this new series to you guys. As you can see in the title, this is Golden Years, covering some of the best runs and years from individual battle rappers through history. I love record keeping in battle rap. I love looking at the history of it. It's just one of my passions in life in general is battle rap. And just like any other sport, NBA, another sport I love to go back and look at some of these throwback seasons, old MVP seasons. Some of these guys had some of the best years of their career, and we can do that in battle rap. We're finally coming to the point where I think the record keeping, thanks to platforms like Let's Talk Battle Rap, shout out to them, very inspired by them and the work that they do. But this record keeping, able to look back at these old battlers' careers and have an understanding of the whole history, everyone's career arc, and, you know, their best runs, their highs, their lows, but whether it's a 1 year run or a 3 year run by a battle rapper, maybe even a stretch of just 3 to 4 battles, these guys have these historic runs, most top tier, all top tiers do for the most part. That helps define their legacy. That helps us place them all time. These are the highlights that make up these legendary careers that we always are debating and talking about in battle rap. And as a Carolina native myself, grew up right outside of Charlotte, Concord area, it's only right that I start off with a Carolina legend, Brizz Rawsteen's late 2016 and 2017 run. We're going to be going over some of the background before we get into the run. Doing some light overview of the battles. You guys are going to see as we go on, and what the reception was of this battle, or what each specific battle did for them. Especially for Brizz, just superstar when he came on the scene. Took a little bit to develop, and we'll go over that. But once he did get there, an unorthodox style, you know, a one of one in battle rap. Obviously, he's even very missed now in his absence. But yeah, going over the first initial run that made us realize, you know, this guy's a future superstar. So without further ado, let's get into breaking down this legendary run by Brizz. So to start out here, we're just going to give a little bit of backstory of a couple where we were leading up to before Brizz, you know, went off for this crazy run. So obviously in early 2016, Brizz was still an upcoming talent. People were still interested, obviously, in the talent that Brizz was. People were tuning in, but we weren't fully sure about where he was as a battler yet. With a couple showings versus Averb and Tay-Rock, Averb showing being one of the more negatively received performances of Brizz's career. Most people have him losing that battle. It's a pretty mucky battle, has some strange angles he takes, and even though people were feeding into his unorthodox style, I mean, fire matchups, UFF tournament, then battling T-Top, even though he lost, that was a great look for him, as well as battles versus the likes of Young X and Show Off, he had showed off, but versus Verb on Rookies vs. Vets, you know, he left some to be desired. And then versus Tay-Rock, most people do have him losing that, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. He fought back admirably as a rookie facing a superstar at that time would. And then the two battles leading in right before this run, he had battled DNA on I think it was the Perfect Day to Die card. That's Chilla Saga, Clips, and Suge. But he battled DNA, very good battle, one of the first, it feels like, real definitive big stage performances versus a fellow top tier. I had Brizz actually beating DNA, but debatable battle, I believe. I think most people have Brizz beating him though, but great showing for him. It made people, you know, really start to become receptive. And then on Unfinished Business, he was to battle Shotgun Suge. Same card as Clips and Nitty, NWX versus Gun Titles rematch. It's a decent little card. I actually like that card a lot. But he did battle Suge, and it was a debatable battle. Definitely in the building. It didn't look the best for Brizz at the time, but there's a lot of physicality. It's where the funny, you know, famous pocket tap comes from when he was being extra with Suge. But it was a debatable battle. I feel like, you know, looking now at how people view Brizz, it's crazy to think he had a debatable with Suge. I think most people would have had him smoking now, but it just goes to show at the time, Brizz was still a developing talent. He was still figuring some things out. Even though he was good and getting better, you know, he was susceptible to a more experienced battler like a Suge being able to make it debatable in that situation. So people were looking for a little more consistency, maybe on the winning side for Brizz, which, you know, would come shortly, but Everybody was interested. Everybody wanted to see what would go on next with them. That entire class of the Chesses, the T-Tops, and the Brizz, obviously we know now, it's one of the better classes in URL history. So with everybody wondering, when's gonna, Brizz is doing good here, then bad there. When are we gonna get some steady? When's that breakout performance gonna come? And then in late 2016, it would come. And this would lead us into the first battle that definitively starts this Brizz run. On September 11th, Brizz Rawsteen headlined Traffic 2 versus Pass. Coming into this battle, people were excited to see Pass on URL. Smack had obviously publicly given a lot of praise to Pass, said he is one of the, kind of king of the dot, off-league URL rappers that he would have loved to have on URL. And this matchup came as he gave him one of his young gunners at the time, Brizz. Coming in, people were definitely thrown around. It was debatable. People weren't 100% sure what was going to happen, but it was good to see Brizz getting a shot, on a headline of a card and a chance to, have that breakout performance versus another a vet. And damn, did he have one. From the first round to the end, it was a complete domination. This was a body bag, Brizz Rawsteen 30'd Pass. I don't think anyone going into it at the time knew just how bad the body was going to be. Even starting in the first, Pass comes out with, regular Pass flow is definitely coming out, rapping, doing his multisyllabic style, getting into a flow and that Bay Area shit. But from the beginning, Brizz was outclassing him with aggression, unorthodox style, disrespect, and this is when we started to see the Brizz Rawsteen that is now known formed. Just so multi-versatile, so many different skills and bags he can jump into. And in the first round, some of the highlights, talking about fangs out, hood on my back, I'm the King Cobra. Definitely a standout line from Brizz's first. And right from the first round of that battle, when Brizz rapped compared to when Pass rapped, the energy was just completely different. As the second went on, Pass tried to pull some angles talking about the Suge battle. And, because as we said, the Suge battle, even though it was debatable, I actually have Brizz winning the battle. It wasn't a good look to the public. I think many members of, the consensus had him losing. I think it's aged better for him. But at the time, it was definitely not the best look. So coming right off that battle, Pass obviously tries to attack that. Talks about him joining Cave Gang. Brizz had just joined Cave Gang too. So a lot of fresh angles on him, but they just didn't seem to hit with that much momentum. Brizz in the second round, you'll see him steam coming from Michelle, like Barack cheating, steam coming from Michelle. That was fire. The rhyme patterns were just absolutely ridiculous. And then, in my opinion, the bar of the battle, the highlight bar that sticks out for Brizz, knife go overpass and then go underpass like I missed the exit. Just absolutely handled Pass. And it's crazy. I mean, Pass is a legend in its own right, even though Pass hasn't had the best, record so far in terms of battling on URL, even to this day. Nobody would have expected it to be like this. And then especially in the third, he goes on with the ultra disrespect, Arsenal-like disrespect that came from Brizz. Performing him, controlling the room, just an absolute masterclass. So to start off, going into this battle was dropped, I believe, in November of 2016. So this is that late 2016 part where after this 30, people were waiting to see, the buzz was there for Brizz. They were ready to see the top tier matchups. The people wanted to see what Brizz is going to do again against top comp. And then shortly after, on Gnome 6, we would see Brizz's next test and next step in his run. And this next challenge was to come in the form of Arsenal. Legend in his own right, and with some things we talked about in the past battle, the disrespect that Brizz was showing, the straight up, it's animated, it's really just in your face, almost to a parody level, it seems like nowadays. In modern battle rap, the weight put on just straight up disrespect isn't as much as it used to be. Definitely with the Geechee Gotti, you see it still going on. It's still performed, but the way that Brizz does it drew a lot of comparisons to Arsenal at the time. So this matchup, the aggression, the straight-out disrespect, the outlandish things said, it just made sense going together. Also to mention about this battle, 4.2 million views, the most viewed battle in Brizz's catalog. Obviously, when the over 4 million club is, it's some elite shit that's going on. You definitely have a battle of value and impact when you start reaching numbers of that magnitude. So yeah, the most viewed battle in Brizz's career. And then to get into it, really, another clear 30 for Brizz in this battle. I'd say that the first round is the closest. I'd say Arsenal was competitive in the first round, but Brizz was able to come out with disrespect, schemes, angling, comparing their careers, talking about the fall of Arsenal. Brizz, underrated trait he may have, I think, is this angling, and specifically his career breakdowns, which we'll get into as we go along. But, saying the fall from grace, touching up on multiple things and the patterns of Arsenal's work ethic over the years, battles everywhere, battling everywhere, one-rounders. He just is able to touch a lot of topics with disrespect and still is able to give you quotables like the strapped up with the flame on the side like I'm Eddie Guerrero, rounds on his head like he's wearing sombreros, and a flip on the you can't spell draw without putting that raw in it. Flip on arse is, bars without putting the arse in it. And if you heard I fucked your wife, I probably went raw in it. Just showmanship, entertainment. Even though arse, like I said, did have a good first gun so big sound effect, there's not a sound effect Big T can make for it. The polo man that's on your shirt, I'm trying to shoot him off his horse. Metal above your nose, now you're cross-eyed, definitely some dope bars from Arse, and it set the tone for a battle that's so memorable, so entertaining. But Brizz did, even with that was a close round, but Brizz did get the first, and then from there, we got some of that Arsenal, that mixtape-ish, what is Arsenal talking about, Arsenal, and Brizz just kept on going up. It's his second round, paint them dreads, red, Lil Uzi Vert, complete career assassination like we spoke about, angling arse, just really getting the nitty-gritty of it. I don't have the exact details written, but for those of you that have, we've all seen the battle countless times. For those of you that haven't, see it for yourself. It's the reason that's 4.2 million views. It's a very, very entertaining battle. And then the third, find your body way down in the jungle, I'll dolomite you, takes more angles about Jersey, talk about there's so many stakes in the game, so I roll with the Metal Gear. All this to the point that even the crowd was chanting 3-0 Brizz. So another clear win, and at this point you can argue that Brizz had gotten back-to-back 30s, and people were waiting for the next Brizz battle. His stock was as high as it had ever been up to this point, and they were just looking for another big challenge for Brizz. And then, one of the rare years that there was actually two Gnomes. On Gnome 7, the next challenge in Brizz's run came. And this next challenge would come in the form of Ill Will. Gnome 7, Ill Will versus Brizz was booked. Obviously, one of the more anticipated matchups going in. This battle has 2.7 million views and is considered one of the best performances in Brizz's catalog. To start off in the first round, a round that Brizz once again was able to dominate and get clear versus a talent like Ill Will. Will came out with an okay first, but some of the highlights from Brizz's first came at the breakfast scheme. This pair is from France. He's getting French toast, fire. Touch scheme about fucking Will's mom. Obviously the disrespect and comedy that comes with Brizz, that unorthodox, very animated performance. Talked about putting the blade in him, and I'll bring it down like I'm talking loud, and bring it back up like we got some shit to talk about. Real incredible stuff. Stage presence, performance. I mean, for those of you that weren't watching Battle Rap live through Brizz's coming up, this is around obviously, 2016, 2017. So if you're a newer fan, it was really incredible to see just this now, someone that, had these tools that we were seeing, but finally is putting it together on the stage and having master classes, completely taking the crowd away from a battler like Ill Will, which is not easy to do. I mean, Ill Will is one of the harder people to beat in Battle Rap, and that's why this was the next test for a guy like Brizz, who was on such an impressive run. So first clear, Will did fight back in the second, had a kind of a parody of Loaded Lux's Harlem Hospital giving beds out, talking about Brizz mama giving head out. Hilarious, obviously. Will has a lot of the same traits, I think, to Brizz in terms of they can both be funny, both over, crazy, aggressive performers. I think Will has them a little bit on the pen side, but in this battle, you really wouldn't even be able to tell. Talking about next quotable from Will in a second. I'm the bootleg man. I'm giving raw clips. That was fire. Mixing in some disrespectful rap. So Will's second, definitely his best round of the battle. Even he can get a butt in the ring. Rakishi, fire. Wrestling bars are always welcome, as we know. So Will's second was fire. Looked like Will fought back. And then here we go, back on Brizz, doing a flip on the pause-worthy bar that Ill Will had versus Clips. Talk about machete, cuts off his hand. Now his finger's stuck in a, y'all finish it for those of you that know. For those of you that don't know, you can watch the battle. But crazy flip by him. And then as we talked about earlier, the career breakdown. He gets to breaking down Will's career. I killed DNA. DNA proved you're not a killer. I had a classic with Rock. You got your ass whooped by Rock. Comparing their views, just little boying Will's legacy at that moment. It's very impressive. It's very hard to do. Very few battle rappers can do true career breakdowns and get the crowd to buy into it at that moment. But it was, angling masterclass, one of his most underrated features. And then obviously the hash brown bar, have your body hanging halfway out the bag like a hash brown. Legendary quotable from Brizz. And then West Coast in 97, you don't fucked up big. Just incredible. So even though Will was great in the second, Brizz got that round too. And then in the third, Brizz was able to clear him just without too many quotables, but playing to the crowd control, showing comedy, having them entertained, and led to another clear 3-0 for Brizz. He's on a 9-0 round run against true top-level competition, and nobody knew who was going to stop Brizz. It looked like he was unstoppable. And with Summer Madness coming around the corner, another big name, the biggest name at this point, had stepped up to take on the challenge. Now, before I get fully into this final challenge, there was a battle of value in the middle. Actually, a 2-on-2 on Double Impact 2. T-Top and Brizz took on Hitman and Verb. I'm not going to spend too much time in this battle. It was truthfully a pretty low-quality battle. Pretty clear win for Brizz and T-Top. You could debate the 30, possible 2-1. I believe that Hitman and Verb's first was pretty entertaining. But overall, the battle was a little, I believe that there was some time limit issues that happened in there. Just a strange experience. Obviously, star-studded names. The battle itself was able to be another success. I believe 1.6 million views it has generated. But overall, low quality. Obviously, being 2-on-2s, it doesn't have too much of an effect on stock, especially if you won, even if the battle's not that entertaining. So, just to go over that real quick. Quick little 2-on-2 W. But back to the big challenge, the big god tier that stepped up to take on Brizz. On SM6, it was booked Brizz Rawsteen versus Calico. Up to this point, this was clearly the biggest challenge of up to this point for Brizz. His first Summer Madness, played his Summer Madness debut against debatably Mr. Summer Madness, debatably the most synonymous battle rapper with this all-time legendary event. And sadly, the battle just did not live up to the hype. And it is where this first initial run of Brizz Rawsteen finally took a step down. Not necessarily that he lost. I have the battle. It is a debatable battle, 2-1. I actually edged the battle to Calico on my most recent rewatch. I've had Brizz go back and forth. I don't really watch it that often. I'm not going to lie either. Like, it's some classic I rewatch often. Definitely a lackluster battle. When I first watched, I was a newer battle rap fan. I hated it. I've grown to actually appreciate both of the gentleman's approach a little bit more. But plagued by mic issues before the battle started, which delayed it. Cal was able to pander to the crowd, kind of turn the crowd on Brizz for the mic issues, created for a weird little crowd dynamic on an otherwise really dope event that the crowd was very involved in. Even the main event after this, the crowd was very receptive. But in this battle, Brizz had a somewhat of a strange first. Cal was able to come back with some real talk, but both of them were pretty dry. I edged the first to Cal. He got into some better pockets. It's actually where I'm a wizard. That particular, people calling Cal calling himself a wizard comes from that first round. Brizz's best round in this battle is his second, and might be the only genuinely good round of the battle from both. That's actually good. You know about metaphors and real rap. When you're face to face with a metaphor, it's a real rap. Fire by Brizz. He had a dairy scheme talking about Cal. Cal. He had a couple references in there. It was a pretty solid scheme. A performance scheme about cleaning a Calico. Talk about clean and calico. I was clean in a calico. Bullet go clean in a calico. It's got like 7 different layers to it, but it was really fucking dope. And then on top of all that, Cal chokes this. He's running bars back a lot this round. He pretty much straight up chokes, says all fucking loses a spot. So even if you don't count it as an exact choke, Brizz, being the sportsman he is, actually helped Cal get it back, make it not look as crazy. But Brizz did take the second clear. And the third is another debatable round like the first. And definitely a little bit of a dip in quality in both. Brizz tries to take another real talk kind of angle, talking about... well, first he starts with a comedy about Cal skinny dipping, then talks about BMF, some of the usual angles that come about Cal, taking up saying he's not real in Detroit, that he's, jocking other people's shit that he didn't really do, but the angle just didn't land like that. There was a stick out bar in here in his third, talked about, I already got shotgun, now I got to add calico to my arsenal of bodies, talking about, even though he didn't body shug, that would be a lie, but dope bar landed. But Cal did come back with some nice pockets. It's hard to really even care about the winner of this battle. I did edge Cal the third. He had a hash browns flip. Them hash browns don't look good with a McGriddle and an egg. Talk about a headshot. So I edged Cal the third, but when a battle is this lackluster, and this is the point, it just really doesn't matter really who wins and who loses. Both of them had a negative effect from this stock, and this is actually... it's something that finally slowed down Brizz's momentum. A lot of people, it doesn't matter if you think he clearly lost or not, you can edge it either way, but definitely a tough look for Brizz in this battle. And with the Cal battle being so lackluster, that is where I'm cutting the end of this first run. Now, obviously, there's other fantastic battles that came in his catalog. Brizz's very next battle was versus O-Red in the original volume, Smack Volume 1, classic battle. He went on to have battles with the likes of Charlie Clips after that, pretty dope debatable battle. So Brizz obviously kept going. We could keep going on and on about Brizz highlights, but in terms of his first initial run, 2017, from Pass to Arsenal to Ill Will, I would say being the highlight, best version of Brizz, most quotable, is just all around the peak. And then even though it's debatable with Calico, you can't, in the record books, you can't just say Cal cleared him. You could give the battle to Brizz, but it definitely was a slowing down from the momentum he had built up. 9 straight rounds over Legends, 9 clear rounds, in my opinion. And then finally, he got to Cal, and even if you got it as debatable, a drop-off in quality. So Brizz's first run, though, was special. This is what cemented and made people realize, even after the Cal battle that wasn't so good, nobody was questioning if Brizz was here to stay. He had proven it in his run up to this point, and he continued to prove it for the years after. Obviously, Brizz is not battling right now for his reasons, but a lot of us would love Brizz to return. There's a lot of matchups out there that I would love to see versus Brizz in this new era. But an incredible run, a career-defining run, and in my opinion, the best run of Brizz Rawsteen's career. And with all that being said, guys, that is going to be the end of the first Golden Years video. You guys let me know how you feel. Do you believe this was the best run of Brizz Rawsteen's career? Is there a different little run in his career that you think equals up to this or could be better? And overall, do you agree with my opinions on the dominance of this run? Did he really clear? Did he go 9-0? And then, who do you have winning between Brizz and Cal? Any Brizz discourse is welcome. I really had fun putting this video together. I can't wait to do more of these. Hopefully I can upgrade the format, just change some things over time, make it better for you guys. The history and looking back at stuff like this, I feel like it's really important to have a record of that and have these designated things that we remember, almost how you would remember a championship ring or a playoff run from a great player. You can remember these runs from your favorite battlers and just, have that information. But you guys let me know below, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other battlers and years you think would be great for a run. There's plenty of all-time years that we can name right here, all types of videos that I could do going over runs like this or best years. So you guys leave suggestions down below. Get at me on my Twitter. It's in the description too. Tweet at me. I'm very active at there, at JSmoReviews. And yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure making this video for you. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.